I secretly own a luxury hot sauce business. Yes, that's strange, and I'll give you more details about that later on at the end of the video. But in today's video, I'm going to show you how I filmed this ad where I lit my hot sauce on fire and I had embers falling. I did it all at my house outside with pretty minimal gear. Let me show you how I did it. Now, I've been charging a very high price for each bottle of hot sauce, and I want my marketing material to reflect that. In a previous video, I showed you how I took all the pictures for the website without revealing that I actually owned the company. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I shot this video of it all on fire and everything. I've got a Sony a7S III that shoots in 120 frames per second. And I thought if I could shoot slow-mo and have flames and embers falling, it could look super cool with this bottle. Initially, my plan was to have the camera pushing in forward, keeping the bottle in focus the entire time as embers were falling down on the bottle. The problem is that I realized very quickly that the second the embers start falling, you're not gonna be able to focus anymore. The camera starts focusing on the embers, and so it's just not gonna work. So then I did some tests where I locked the camera's focus at the farthest point where it pushes forward, and then the camera kind of moves itself into focus. This does work, but it really limits what you're able to do in post-processing. And so eventually I just realized, I should shoot all of this completely locked off on a tripod, and then I can add movement in post afterwards. Now let's talk about the falling embers. I used 2 boom stands to hold up a wire shelf that I got from Home Depot for like 19 bucks, and it was made of metal, so I didn't have to worry about it catching on fire. At first, I thought I could pull this off with simple sparklers, but as you can see here, I put a bunch of sparklers over top of the bottle, and all of the embers burn up too quickly, so they weren't even showing up in my shot. My next plan was steel wool, so I bought a bunch of different brands on Amazon. This one here is actually my favorite. It did the best out of all of them. And to get the best results, I think you have to stretch it out and make it really thin. And then I also put some lighter fluid on it to make it go up in flames even more quickly. Now, next up, I wanted to test out some fire, and I had some lighter fluid, and I just kept pouring it on the glass and then drenching the bottle. And I could not get it to light. And so, like any idiot man, I just kept adding more and more lighter fluid and it wouldn't light. So then I sopped some up with a paper towel and put it behind the bottle, and then it definitely lit. Now underneath the bottle, to get that nice reflection down there, I've got a black piece of foam core and a piece of glass on top of that. Obviously, you don't want plexiglass because it would melt, but you also don't want cheap glass because this can happen. So that wrapped up the first night of footage, but when I got back to the computer and really looked at the footage, I realized that the video could use a little bit more polish, especially the bottle itself. So I went back again the next night. I made sure to get the bottle looking much better in terms of the framing as well as the lighting. I ended up using a single light in the front with a reflector dish, aiming directly at the bottle, and then behind the bottle on both sides, I have 2 strip boxes which add these nice little highlights down the sides of the bottle. After doing some tests in Premiere the previous night, I realized that it was pretty easy to do compositing, where I could take fire from one shot and add embers to it, or I could add multiple shots with embers and combine them all together, as long as the camera and the bottle didn't move. So for this second shoot, I got a much thicker piece of glass. Instead of using the Rhino slider that first day, I used a normal tripod, and I made sure everything was locked down. I got some killer shots with the embers, and then I wanted to get some shots with the fire. I ended up using some of the old burnt up steel wool, and I put some lighter fluid on there, and I lit it up in front and behind the bottle, and I think this shot looks awesome. Now, back in Premiere, I took this 120 frames per second footage. I made it 24 frames per second, so it was in super slow-mo. And then as I was watching it, I might find a clip where the embers look good on one side, but maybe the other side was kind of dead. I could find another piece of time within that clip where maybe the embers look good on the right, and I could stack it on top of the other layer, and I could change the blending mode to lighten. Basically, that's all you have to do, and boom, it looks good. Once you're happy with the way the shot looks, you can highlight all of the stacked clips, nest them together, and then you can add an overall global look using Lumetri color, or you can go in and add keyframes if you want to add some movement to the shot. For the fire shot, I did the exact same thing. I have the fire layer below, I add a layer of falling embers above, I set the blending layer to lighten so that it shows up, and boom, you're done. You may have also noticed that I added a little detail to the background. To do that, I added one more layer on top of everything else with some interesting background. Using the pin tool, you can cut out the bottle so nothing shows up on the bottle. Once again, I'm going to set the blending mode to lighten, and then you can just play with that opacity to make it look real. I don't want a really bright background, but I just wanted to add a little bit of interest to that boring black background that I had. So that's it. Relatively easy, relatively cheap, and you get to play with fire. What can be better than that? Now, you're probably wondering why Lee Morris, the owner of F-Stoppers, owns a luxury hot sauce business, and maybe what the heck is luxury hot sauce? Let me explain. I started making hot sauce a long time ago. I came up with this recipe that I love. Everybody who tastes it loves it. And of course, everybody said the exact same thing. Lee, you should start a hot sauce business. And when I looked into it, there's a billion hot sauce businesses and they're all the exact same. They all come in the exact same bottle. Most of them taste horrible. Most of them have super goofy marketing. And as somebody who loves hot sauce and who has lots of friends and family who loves hot sauce, I've realized over the years that you can't really give somebody a $6 bottle of hot sauce for Christmas or a birthday. It's kind of a crappy gift. So I just had this idea years ago. What if there was a really high-end hot sauce that came with beautiful packaging, that actually looked like it was something special, that was handmade, super unique, super rare, that you could give to somebody as a gift and it wasn't a total embarrassment. And that was the entire idea. I have been specifically working on this business mostly secretly for like 3 years to 4 years now. I didn't want to reveal that I own this company right from the start because I wanted to see if I was capable of selling it without promoting it to the audience that I've built over the last 10 or 15 years. I wanted to see if the product would kind of stand on its own. And obviously, 99.9% of people who see this product and then see what it's selling for are instantly outraged and they're like, what the hell is this? But I also thought, that could really work for viral marketing. If the average person is outraged by it, they're gonna share it with somebody else and go, look how dumb this is. And if I can get, 1 out of 100, 1 out of 500 people to buy it, then maybe this would be a legitimate business. Now, I've been selling this for quite a while, but just a few months ago, I started buying ads for the first time ever, and sales have really picked up. That's good, obviously, but the problem is that I am personally making, bottling, wax sealing, putting in the box, taking every single one of these to the mail, shipping every single one out. I'm doing customer service, I'm answering emails, I'm doing every single thing 100% by myself. Obviously, a normal hot sauce business would go through a co-packer and everything, but being that this is such a weird product and I wasn't sure if it was going to be successful or not, I promised myself that I would get through the entire first batch of all of the bottles and boxes that I've ordered myself before I ever went to another co-packer. So right now, if you order one of these, I am actually making it 100% myself and I personally am mailing it to you. Each one comes in this Alcantara style box with a debossed logo on the front. Inside, you get the bottle itself with the wax seal and the metal pourer on top. I think that it's something special, especially when you compare it to your average hot sauce. I'm not exactly sure how long I'm going to be doing this business. Right now, it's going okay, and even though I'm selling each bottle for a lot of money, there's really not much profit still. I know that sounds crazy because most people think hot sauce is like 25 cents, but it costs me a ton per unit. So over the next year, I'm just gonna be trying to figure out, can I scale this business? Is it worth continuing? Can I get somebody else, like a co-packer, to do all of the work making and bottling and shipping each one of these while still keeping it, a small batch special product? I'm not exactly sure, but that's currently what I'm trying to figure out. If you're interested in hot sauce and you like special things and you want something that's handmade by me, head over to Oliveum.com and you can use the code FStoppers just for people who have seen this video to get a special discount. And if you're outraged by this product and you think it's the biggest ripoff in history, will you please let everybody on your social media feed know? Just copy Oliveum.com to your Facebook page and then write something like, can you believe what they're charging for this hot sauce? What type of idiot would buy this?